welcome to my studio. Welcome to my atelier. This is another stream where I will be continuing working on my fragment, or actually my preparatory work, preparatory painting for the larger piece. It's called Cyril and Methodius. Last time I was really putting together some idea about the background figures, where they're going to look, how they're going to perceive, how are they going to be perceived, and I experimented a little bit with the loose brushworks, just having fun, enjoying the moment. So that would be the portrait right here. I told you that that part of a painting was kind of a exploration. I was trying to explore the moment and the feeling. I wanted to put a paint down. I wanted to create and experiment with the different textures, with the different kind of a feel of a paint on the canvas. So that's why when you look at these figures, this head was painted different way than this one and this one as well. So I have three different styles there. And the reason is, as I mentioned, that I wanted to choose the best style, or best style. I wouldn't even call it style. I wanted to experiment with kind of that philosophical, emotional impact that painting has on us when we're looking at it. And thick paint, kind of a, like a loose brushwork, shows kind of that weariness, heaviness. Not only that it was heavy and difficult, but also the paint and the whole canvas feels a little bit heavier. So you feel that pressure of the paint build up. That's why I really enjoy to go to museum and look and examine paintings from every possible angle, and I take my time to look at them, because there's so much that those paintings of great masters can teach us, or can give us actually, when it comes to painting and the information that they're trying to communicate as well. So that's what happened last time. I told you that whenever I come to my studio and start working, the work, it's not necessarily immediately about, oh, I have to put the paint on the palette and start mixing colors and start painting. That's not the way how it works, especially for me. I come to studio, I look, I observe, I change, I do little adjustments, I do a couple sketches, I prepare my digital files, I have my books ready if I'm missing something, and I should probably open them right now, because Rembrandt, it's right here. He's the one that I need right now a lot. So I have a couple pages that I have prepared to look through for the portraits, because I am working on portraits right now. So I'll definitely use him as my guide. That's something that I would recommend all of you who paint alongside with me to do as well. Bring up your references. Whether they're digital or actual, physical copies of great paintings, or if you own some great paintings, so use those as a reference. Just be careful with them. So that's that for introduction. What I'm going to do today, I'm gonna keep going on that phase. I might do some radical changes. I might leave it as it is. I don't think that you can see it, but I really work with the palette knife, because there is a stage when the paint, it's kind of a it's not dry. It feels like it's touch dry. It kind of has like that kind of a very sticky feel to it, and I did not scrape it with my palette knife. I pressed it, and I'm kind of like, I used my palette knife as a knife when you're buttering, when you're trying to put the butter on your bread. So that was kind of a technique that I did. I needed to do it yesterday actually, and I couldn't do recording, but I had to do it with the paint before it dries completely. So it kind of instead of softening it with the dry brush and kind of blending it together way too much, by pressing my palette knife on the canvas, it kind of created that very soft but still visible edge between the colors. So it doesn't seem very smooth, but it doesn't look as rough as it was. And then when this was done, I waited another day, and then I worked with my sandpaper, and I sanded down the little pieces of texture that I didn't like, and I found some, under painting, and kind of created that kind of a coherent a portrait. It's definitely not a final portrait. This is, like I said, experimentation. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem like it belongs to this painting. So I'm aware of it. It's okay, and no worries. I'm going to be working on it, since I talked to you about this is a painting. This is not something unusual for me and for my way of painting. I like to layer, I like to see it, and if I don't like it, I will repaint it. I'm not afraid of laying down the paint and then scraping it down and throwing it into a trash can. It's the part of the exploration. I want to see where are the limits of the paint, where are the limits of what I can achieve by layering the paint and structuring it. It's something that I believe it was, and I mentioned Vincent Desiderio previously, and I think that's something that he mentioned about the painting, about a narrative, technical narrative, that through that layering, and I really that idea stuck in my head, because that's exactly what I have been doing without even understanding the reason why I'm doing it. I just kind of felt that the painting need to be layered, because it's just in my idea, the movement of these figures is shown not only by the gesture, but also by the different position of the heads, how I move them, the different position for the hands, for the feet. It kind of create that narrative of them in my head, especially of them moving. It's kind of getting me closer to resolving all the problems that I had with proportions and movements and colors and harmonies and paint application, textures, and list goes on and on and on. So today I have a feeling that I'll be able to work only in this area, so I'm not really worried about the other stuff. And maybe I'll be working a little bit on that hand, because I need to see there how it's going to kind of connect these parts right here, these shapes. And I would like to have it kind of resolved on that side, so then I can fully focus, then I can switch my focus to this area right here, which needs to be developed, work on the faces here a little bit. I actually prepared a different canvas for painting these portraits in the background. So I might actually do a video on or stream it how I work step by step on the multiple canvases at once. And it's not like I will be painting two hands simultaneously. It's more like I have this canvas, something I don't like, I can just move to another one, try to do it there and see what's going to happen, and then try to replicate that knowledge that I extracted from another painting. So I don't want to talk a lot because there is I think the storm coming, so the sun's gonna or sunlight is going to disappear very quickly. It's already pretty dark in the studio right now, and those of you who watch my streams regularly, you know that I don't work under artificial light. It's just something that I don't like to do, especially when I work with the color and subtle shifts and chromas and hues and whatnot. So So I'm keeping this all natural light. Yeah. So, but since I'm not going to be work a lot with the color more, I'm just going to adjust the proportions a little bit. Maybe I'm going to tilt the head a little bit. I have some sketches going on here for me, so I'll see. I'll see how much I can push it. So it's going to give me that result that I'm or resolution that I'm looking for. Yeah. So first, what I'm going to do, I might go back to basics and kind of check my proportions and be really, really cautious, because I worked predominantly from imagination on this painting, and the reason is that I want to push myself to work from imagination to be ready to then mix or combine the knowledge from imagination with knowledge from working with live with live model. I want to bring the live model the moment when I'm sure where that model is going to be how that model is going to pose, and what sort of clothes do I need to prepare, what sort of drapery I need to have, and that's already for a large painting that hopefully gonna start soon. Maybe by the end of the summer I might be able to be ready. Depends on how far I can get with these. So I'm going to do little adjustments. I'm going to work a little bit on that portrait, and I said that I'm going to use. I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to do little measurement adjustment, and I feel that. And I was thinking what to do with the hair. Do I want to keep it like that amongst? And I really don't know. Maybe I'll give him a hair a little bit more, because it seems, like I said, if they have that kind of a long journey, they're traveling a lot, I don't think that he would be able to sustain that haircut. Maybe he would, I don't know. It's just something that I'm thinking out loud about the process, and I'm trying to analyze that a little bit. So, yeah. And I don't think that hair could go that low. It seems, and that's why I want to go back to that, because it seems like his hairline is right here, that it cannot be. So I want to do a little adjustment. So I'm probably going to be working a little bit with my, and I also feel like his nose is a little too much on the right side, and it should go a little bit more left. Because if I have a 3/4, right, and center line is somewhere here where I had it before I started to paint, right? So the nose should be here a little bit more, like so. And I know that I mentioned that then he's looking a little way too much outside, but still right now he's looking into that space, and I don't want him to look into that space. So I move his head a little bit more towards the left, and I move his eyes more towards the right. So it gives me kind of that feeling of a curve that, visually I'm moving from behind towards the left in the composition, in kind of that direction of composition. I think that will help, especially with this position for these figures. So I'm going to do really just adjustments. And a little bit of measurements, so I know that nose, bridge, so his hairline should be somewhere here, starting. So this needs to go, and maybe, since I was talking about that, maybe we can give him hair. I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. And this is why I'm working partially with references. partially with anatomy references, partially with Rembrandt, that it's right here. I should probably find some portrait that is with a similar position, and I can see right now that I have something with a similar position here. I understand it's the like a mirror reflection of that. I know that it's in the shadow, but I'm looking for that light side, for that structure, how beautifully it's painted, how refined those brushstrokes are there. So that might be one. And then I have some older figures. This might be also very beneficial for me because it shows kind of a beard, and I wanted to add the beard a little bit because I feel that they probably, most of them have beards. So this is the time for me to maybe find some, and I lost my tags here because I was preparing for this. Okay, all right, beautiful. Rembrandt simply cannot disappoint. I don't know how is he doing it, but he can't disappoint me. He can. Only thing that Rembrandt can do to me after all these years is to surprise me again and again. So let's get into that painting. And I probably should grab a brush immediately and start going with these adjustments with brush. I'm just wiping it lightly. I can still see the traces of wine charcoal there. And the reason why I want to start with the paint is that because I have already a lot of shapes going on, and I can't make this lighter with the charcoal. I can work only darker. So, and I didn't do today introduction for my palette. So palette is something that I talk about a lot. So let me just give you, while I'm mixing, the idea behind this. I have a really kind of a complicated layout, but it's not that complicated when you start thinking about these as reds, these as orange yellows, these are the blues, these are the greens, and that's it. So it's basically primaries and secondaries. I'm looking for mostly for a properties of the pigments that I'm buying rather than just brands. So, but if you want to know more about that, there are plenty of videos to check out on either mine or some other painters that will give you information about that. And I'm checking. Yeah. Oops. So if this is going to be here, cool. So I'm trying to correct my proportions because that's something that is really important for me right now at this stage. And even though it seems like I'm working on details, I'm not really going, you know, I'm not here, and this is something that you should really think of. I'm not here, I'm not doing this. I might for a little bit, since I'm here right now, but that's not what I'm working on right now. I don't want to put the details there. Plus, this figure is not going to have any detail on his face. It's really going to be pretty much, there's the eye right here. I should push the nose even a little bit more there. And you remember, I wanted to give him a kind of a I wanted to show that zygomatic arc, those cheekbones rather, to be a little bit more prominent on his face, because I felt like that's something that showed that lack of food. And I'm not saying that they were hungry, but it's just when you travel long distances, you can know it, maybe on your own travels, that or when you are after really long journey, you're gonna lose weight. And I want to capture that. I don't want them to be like, you know, thick, heavy. That's why I adjusted, if you remember, the belly a little bit and show more of the arm, because it felt like he's really fat, and I don't think that he would survive with that belly. And I'm not saying that someone will kill him and eat him. I'm saying that that journey would definitely help him to since I want to give him a hair, I might change the shape of his head a little bit. And again, I'm just playing with it. I'm testing what would work. And what will not work. So quick check in the mirror. I think that the hair would be better, I think. Let me just put a little bit of and I know that I used my medium right now with the darker values, but I'm going to grab a brush measurement again, just to make sure that I'm in the right position. Cool. alignment. A little lower. And I think that because what I'm trying to do, even though I'm working on the face, I don't want to start over exaggerating certain features because when I'm this close, I'm kind of moving back and forth to my sketch, to my reference sketch. So I'm gonna do a dry brush. So I'm gonna grab paint. Oh, it was here. Okay. And I'm just scumbling the paint on the top just to get rid of that hairline that was really wrong. I was trying to create so it's going this way, and then this is going to be the corner. And it needs to be definitely lighter. Okay, so you can see that I'm changing and moving things around. But I'm not doing like kind of a crazy drastic adjustments. Maybe ear could go, maybe the eye could go a little higher on this side. Feels like it should. This way. And this is going to be in the shadow. And this is going to be in the shadow. This is another corner. This might be a little too high of a value, but that's okay because I need to see it from a distance. These are just the placeholders, and I will go over them. Okay, so I need to have this pushed a little higher. This goes right here. Okay, this is going to be hair right here. Okay. like to put, since my brush is still clean, it's not polluted by other color, I'm gonna put the shadow for the nose. And I'm pushing it a little higher because I felt like proportions were wrong. It seemed way too big. And I was comparing it to, and you're gonna laugh, some of you might laugh. I'm looking at his big toe. When you think about it, the size of your nose with the size of your toes on your big toe on your foot, it's something that's helping me to do the measurement. So I will push mouth a little higher. And this is a really slow kind of a tedious process, and I hope that everyone who's watching right now it's painting alongside with me, drawing or creating art. Actually, that's something that I should mention more and more, that the best way to enjoy this, it's just to paint alongside with me. This is not necessarily a step-by-step, paint by number video, and I don't do those because I think that there's plenty of them on the internet. You can find great painters that they do those. I don't yet. Maybe I'll start. I don't know. Most likely not. I put this into shadow a little bit. Let me make it a little lighter, a little bit more chromatic. And since these are, I'm using both techniques. I'm using glazing or washes, and I also dry brush. So this could be all in shadow. Maybe from this side as well. And I was playing with the idea of showing a little bit of the background ear there, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, because it feels like it kind of just, the line is so abrupt there. And I'll push the neck a little bit this direction. This, like so. There's going to be somewhere here is the eye. So I could put this into a shadow maybe, perhaps. Okay. maybe, maybe. So I'm playing with these shapes. This is, like I said, nothing is set in stone. I'm just having fun with it. I'm changing, and I'm moving within the boundaries because I don't want to change the size of the head, because then everything, all the relationships are going to change. So I'm just moving it within. So this is where the eye is going to be. Okay, eyelid. Okay. And I need a little darker color, and you can see I need something cooler. But kind of a reddish hue. And cooler, I mean less chromatic, I guess I would say. This is too dark. Let's grab a little bit of this. A little bit more chroma, because I'm adding white, and white cools down everything. Or for those of you who are a Mansell's fan, dechromatize, if that's even a word. Glabella right there. Okay. And you can see me going back and forth really very often, and so should you. Trust me, that's no better way of assessing your painting than from a distance. And since this is a large painting, I have to go really, really far away, all the way back into my studio. Actually, the reason why I moved to another studio was because I did not have enough backing space. So that should tell you the story about how much I care about or how important rather for me it's to moving back. If I put this a little bit this way and then push. More chroma here where the cheeks are, I need to make this lighter. And I should make this lighter. Corner of the eye, okay. So I'm doing these placeholders there, assessing and analyzing and going back and forth. That's basically what I'm working on right now. Just put a little bit to nose, so I know where that nose is. Let me adjust this a little bit. right here. And there's going to be a corner of the eye right here. Okay. Okay. So let's put his hair here. Let's put the shape right here. Let's see if this is going to work. Hair, and a little piece of ear. Sticking right here. Okay, I think this is better than. And maybe I should push this to show that a little bit more this direction. I guess this would be better. Oops, already polluted my brush. No worries. I can soften these. Okay, I think having hair like this, it's way better. And I might use that type of hair for maybe one of these guys right here. I don't know, I'll see. Let me just put a clear indication of that. Maybe you can do him a little dirty and show some receding hairline. I don't know. What do you think? Yes, I'm going for it. I'm going for the receding hairline. He's probably going to mad at me, but part of the ear, and you can see I'm just I'm just placing the brush strokes there, really kind of mapping what's happening there, and I'm looking more for a value right now, rather than color. Ideally, I would love to do everything at once, but since this is a experiment, it's not experiment, since this is a sketch or kind of a having fun painting, at this point I'm working only with the value and tone, because I want to make sure that I have that overall feel to it. And I'm pretty sure that you can see how that face is changing, how it's progressing, how it has more and more kind of a human structure. It's not just a flat. And this is mostly dry brush. There is nothing to it. And understanding and knowing what does it mean to work with a dry brush. That means that I'm adding a little bit lighter color, or lighter value rather, I'm sorry, to my brush, or loading my brush with a lighter value. and that's because I'm not really covering it opaquely, since I'm working with a rough surface. I have this kind of a skipping of the paint, so somewhere is catching, somewhere it isn't, and it's creating that kind of a it feels like it's from a distance it kind of blends together, but then you can see the pigment or underlayer showing through. So that's something that I'm enjoying a lot, and that's the reason why I love to paint. With multiple layers, because it gives me that freedom to do this. The top of the mouth, and then the corner of the maybe I should put a little bit more here. It seems like his face is way too narrow right now, so maybe some. I'm gonna grab this green sienna that I have here, or greenish, or leaning towards the green. A little lighter value. So there's the eye. So I want him to look this direction, this here. Right, so, and that's gonna be a right here. Brush stroke and right here. Okay. And you can see that I am really changing the position for the face. And like I said, I felt like it needs to be changed. It needs to be changed, I'm sorry. And imagine that I would have beautifully painted face, softening those edges. Okay, I would have beautifully painted face. I would never be able to do this to beautifully painted face. So that's a reason for you as well to really experiment, have fun, play with it, move things around, and when you are 100% sure that this is where you want to maybe a little bit more of that. Then proceed with painting that face. And I think that this is somewhere where I would probably spend the most of my time when I'm painting. In this kind of a nowhere stage, and I would be figuring out, do I want to portrait go leaning more towards this direction, or do I want it to go a little bit more this direction? Do I want it to be a little bit more developed, a little bit less developed? Do I want more of that kind of a rough, rugged feeling? Or do I want less? And the cool thing is that I can repaint it if I don't like it. And I know that I'm repeating myself with repainting it over and over again, but that's something that... Okay, and right now I pushed him that direction. He's again looking away from the painting, and it's kind of compositionally something that I don't like. And I have to correct it, and I'll correct it with just a second. Okay, this needs to be a little bit more. Okay, I will correct it with the position of his eyes. So I'm going to direct the eyes more towards us. So, like I mentioned, there is a implied line of a direction of his nose, let's say, or direction of his face. And then I'll move his eyes that direction a little bit. So it kind of gives me that turning in, turning from two-dimensional, that kind of a zigzag diagonals that I'm trying to create in here. I'm also adding that kind of a zigzag in the depth, in the space, which should bring them together, which should bring the figures together as a group, and should move and force your eye to move the way that I want you to. Or the way that the story progresses. I don't know how to explain it better. I have to probably find the proper words for it. So my eye is going to be right here. And then I should grab another brush, a little bit of this white. It might be way too much. I'm going to be working on the eye a little bit. But just a little bit. And the reason is because I want to get that feeling. I want to see whether or not, and the sun is showing up right now. All right, so let's go. A little bit of black. A little more. Not enough paint there. So what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to not find the value for the step into my light. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue with painting if this light is again, it's almost the end of the day, and I'm catching the last pieces or last bits of light before So as you can see, I pushed his eyes towards us. Well, maybe maybe you can't see it, but trust me, I'm pushing them towards us. And I'm really, really okay, this needs to be adjusted. I'm really hoping that this right where I have my mixtures, it's the light is shining. I don't know, I probably won't be able to continue. No worries. Okay, he seems very old right now and very ragged and kind of beat up, but that's okay. And he seems like he right now feels like this part is freshly painted, so it's overpowering this. I have to, and you should too, keep, how would I put this? I know that tomorrow when the paint sets, depends on what kind of pigments are you using. That means I have a earth tones right here, siennas and umbers. They really dry very quickly, and canvas kind of, how would I put this? The oil that is in those earth tones, they're going to get really, really kind of dull. They're not going to be as chromatic as cadmiums, so they're going to lose their vibrancy a little bit, and that kind of creates that feeling of that they are dark, not darker. They are less visible, or I don't even know how to say it. It's just a kind of an optical illusion, and I know that that's going to happen. I should probably make it less vibrant, but it's always easier to make it less chromatic than make it more chromatic. Right now, if I want, I can tomorrow do wash over this whole area right here, and it's going to sit into the background, and probably I will do it. Probably I will do it if the paint won't do what I want to. And I don't want to oil in all the time the same area over and over and over again, because it's going to be then really, really a lot of oil. So I know how and what's going to happen with this paint compared to what happens here. This is also dry brush. This is also similar technique, and it's going to sit by tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, and it's going to look really desaturated, almost dull. It's going to be complete opposite of what's happening right now. And then I can again I can do two things. I can come with a really, really, since this is all kind of a cool colors happening right here around, I can come with the warm color at the beginning just to warm it up a little bit, and then again tone it down. So connecting, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting, and looking for that sweet spot where it's going to be really nicely working with this portrait and this portrait. It's not going to overpower anything, but it's still going to be part of the focal point. There is so many other things that that needs to be adjusted. But as for now, I think this is pretty good stage. I might work a little bit on that arm, because I think that that's something that should be there. Let me see, where's my, I should have a reference for that arm there. So somewhere here. I think this is the one. Yeah, should probably put it down. I don't know, the sun is making fun of me today. So, and it's not like it's making fun of me, it's more like it's giving me a hard time. But yesterday I mentioned, or last time when I was painting or streaming, I mentioned that this is the reason why I really, really enjoy painting under natural light, because it's giving me always a different light conditions, and every time when I look at my painting, throughout the day under different daylight, I can see some mistakes. This might be way too chromatic and way too dark. Let me see. But I want his hands to be dark anyway, but I need a little cooler. Less chromatic. A little bit more chroma. Still dark. Maybe somewhere here. Okay. Okay, this is way too red or pinkish. So I need to grab a little bit more of that. Yeah, this is better for me to see, not necessarily the right way to, or the right pigment, but this is something that should work together with these hands. And then again, I'm right now having fun with it, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever I'm going to be back with this painting, I'm going to adjust it again same way as I adjust the face. First, I want to have a little bit of fun with it, a little bit of experiment, a little bit of just moving paint around, which I like a lot, to work with a little bit kind of that thicker a little bit here. And it needs to be a little bit more saturated. And let me put a little bit of shadow there. So right here, maybe a little bit like the thumb is, and then underneath here maybe there's a little bit of a some fingers there right here in the back. So I want to put those there as well. Okay. So it's stopping right there. And I'm again thinking, like, if this is his hand, is this big? It's slightly, yeah, I'm good with the proportions. And then maybe if it's going to, maybe this should go a little higher. Right here, yeah, this is where that's why I felt that the thumb is way too long, because believe it or not, the beginning of that thumb was in the wrong position. And I have a bone finger. Okay. Same principle. I'll just do a little bit of the adjustments, and then I should do adjustment of that fat belly that I created a little bit more. Because these are not necessarily, even though it's really dark, and I said that I should not continue when it's dark, so I'm not going to be worrying right now about the color as much as I'm interested in. And I should maybe add a little bit of just a touch. Greens are done. Transparent green, just a little bit. So this is where his a little bit, and it's going this right here, like so, here, and here. Maybe this way right here. So I made him a little, he still feels like he's too okay. Right now it's better. It just felt like he's way too, and it's probably because this should go a little bit more right here. This way, maybe I should make him, okay, little thinner. Yeah, it's definitely needs to be thinner, and I have to adjust this shoulder a little bit. So I think this is enough for today. This is as much as maybe just a little bit of that. A little bit of this. Dry brushing again. Just a little bit, okay. think that that head is a little too on the smaller side. I don't know, I have to look at it tomorrow, a little bit on the smaller side. So maybe I'll adjust it a little bit again to make it a little bigger. And I think it's, again, that's something that happens very often, that you place down the shape, you start putting details in, you start chisel it around, and then you lose that overall size. But maybe it's just because it's a lot of information there, so it seems, because it's almost, because proportionally everything sits well, it might be just the amount of information that is there, it just kind of pushes it into a smaller size. Because the head to body ratio is totally okay. The arm is in the right position. It might be maybe on the longer side, but just a tiny bit. Yeah, these are these things, and I was looking in the mirror reflection into the mirror, so I see the mirror reflection of the painting. And these are the things that I like to really think of. Tomorrow it's going to be another day. Tomorrow I'm going to look at this painting. I'm not going to be looking at it right now. I'm just going to move it on the side. I have another project that I'll be working on. Drawings right now, so preparatory drawings for another portrait, because I have plenty of those portraits there. So that's what I'm going to be working on right now. And then when I finished, I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm going to take a rest, sleep, and tomorrow morning, the first thing that I'm going to evaluate and start working on, it's with the fresh eyes, rested eyes. Oh, does this work? Is it really the right proportions? Are these correct? Is this the correct position? Does this help a composition or destroys the composition? Is it something that needs to be changed anatomically, or can I make it by atmospheric perspective? Is there a problem with values and tone? And all these questions, and I will prepare myself a plan to go step by step. What is the most important part that needs to be adjusted immediately, and what's the second, third, fourth, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you soon later. Take care. Bye.